Good Saturday morning to you folks. Mike here, the Fresh Rinse. I'm going to do a large project on this Saturday. One-story home, couple of barns, retaining wall, etc., etc. Hey, one of our viewers, Power Clean Plus, asked a very interesting question, and I'm going to address that on my way to this opportunity. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so Power Clean Plus asked me to explain why I have Carlton, who is actually off work today. He gets a pedicure once a month. I pay for it. I need him to be at his best. Why I have Carlton as a helper, but I do not require him to do any hands-on work. Let me explain. I think that you'll understand. So Carlton, in fact, does a lot of work. None of it is hands-on. In other words, he doesn't help me on my pressure washing jobs. In fact, he stays in the truck, and that's what I expect him to do. So Carlton does a lot of what I call proactivity work. In fact, everything he does is work that benefits me for the future. For instance, on the way to every job, Carlton's role, on the way to every opportunity, Carlton's role is to do research on the customer. By the time we get to the customer's home, I want to know the names of their children, their grandchildren, what their schedule is, what they did last Saturday, what they're doing this Saturday. There's nothing that gets me more 5-star Google reviews than asking the customer about the soccer game that they attended last Saturday, if they enjoyed it. I even know the score. That's Carlton's job. He does that, and he does it far better than I can. His research skills are just keen, to say the least. So he does a lot of that kind of research for me, and it allows me to know the customer inside and out before getting to the opportunity. Something else Carlton does. He does more proactivity work. So before our lunch hour, he will do research on the local restaurants in the area, and then he will call ahead and schedule a booth. In essence, he is making reservations for a restaurant. He will know what the menu says before we get there so that we can decide on our meals in advance, and he will call ahead and order the food in advance so it's ready for us once we get there. He will also do a little research on the restaurant, knowing where the rear entrance is, for example. Sorry for the bumpy road. I can't do anything about that. He will know where the rear entrance is so that I'm not hindered by people who want to talk as I'm going into the restaurant. We only have an hour, and I really don't want, in that moment in time, I don't want to be talking to people. So he'll know where the rear entrance is. And he usually, if possible, I mean, he's not a miracle worker, but he will find a booth. I prefer a booth with the padded seats. I hate the hard seats. In the rear of the building, if they have an employee break room, he will request that. That way I'm just not left to talk to people. He will then clear the way when I leave so that there's no one to talk to on the way out. And he's a magician at that. It's amazing how he does that. Other things, he will also schedule my weekends, so my date night and whatnot. He will make the reservations at restaurants for me and my wife. He'll do all of that same work. He will purchase tickets. For instance, last week we went to see Top Gun Maverick. It was good. He will make sure that my popcorn is ready and hot, salted with the caramel. I like the caramel, not glazing, but the salt flavored stuff. I forget what you call it. Anyhow, he does all of that for me, and quite honestly, I pay him extremely well. So he knows, and he already did work since he's off today. He knows that I am en route to the customer's house. He will contact them in advance. They already know that I'm en route. I know that this customer has 3 sons and 1 daughter. The daughter goes to Yale. The 3 sons are all unemployed. Go figure. And this is a farm, but so it's very interesting. They raise cattle. They have 57 head of cattle, 3 pigs. Speaking of pigs, I'll tell you a story here in a moment, something else he does. And they sell the pigs every winter for Christmas gifts for their kids and grandkids. Quite interesting. See, I'll bring that up when I get to the homeowner's home here in just a moment. I mentioned earlier, just a few moments ago, that I would mention something about a pig. So last fall, for instance, I entered my prize pig, into the county fair. Carlton did research on all the other pigs to make sure, well, I'll just say it, to make sure that I win. Because I'm not going to enter my pig if the other pigs are bigger. So he did the research in advance, make sure that I'm going to win, that kind of thing. I mean, I pay him to do it. It's not cheating. I'm paying him to do this. So, Power Clean Plus, thank you for your question, and I hope that answered. Feel free to ask more questions. I'll do more follow-up videos if necessary. Thank you, Mike, the Fresh Rinse, and Carlton, out.